What's up? Oklahoma State versus Stanford just concluded. An amazing dual meet, incredible atmosphere as always at Gallagher-Iba Arena. Going to get into the recap. It was a 33-7 win for the Cowboys. We'll get started. 125 pounds. Troy Spratley did what we thought he was going to do. Unfortunately, no Nico Provo for Stanford. He's out with injury. He will be back, but not available for this one. That was a hotly anticipated matchup. But unfortunately, it's Matten for Stanford, and it's a tech fall for Troy Spratley. And it would have been an opportunity for revenge for Troy Spratley, who fell to Provo a couple years back at CKLV. And of course, since that time, he's made a NCAA final. So Troy Spratley looks good. 33, probably the match of the night. I think the craziest match we saw, Richard Figueroa versus Tyler Knox of Stanford. And coming into this, Knox was the higher ranked guy. He was favored, the pick on paper. But with Richard Figueroa, you never know. This guy's a national champion. And it came out quick takedown for Richard Figueroa. Knox reverses. Figueroa reverses. Knox to his back. He's up to a big lead. I think he was up like 8-2 or 3 or something like that. And then I don't know if the wheels fell off, but Tyler Knox got the ball rolling. He was getting takedowns. If you haven't watched Knox, one of the best scramblers in the game, bar none, and really, really good from the top position. Was able to get turns, riding time, and I believe he scored like 9 unanswered points against Figueroa for the win. So it was a great start for Figueroa, but couldn't put the full 7 minutes together. But really, this match is more about giving credit to Tyler Knox, who is just a very complete wrestler. He's good with neutral offense, neutral defense. I already mentioned the top work, and he put it all together here against a very good Richard Figueroa. So I'm excited to see, because, you see glimpses are there for Richard Figueroa, and it would just be, 133 is this weight of so much talent. And if Richard Figueroa can find that groove that he had 2 years ago at 125, it's going to make this weight all the more entertaining. And a guy like Tyler Knox is a big contributor there. And then this night was really about the true freshmen. The true freshmen for Oklahoma State really stood out in a major way. And it started at 141 pounds. Sergio Vega made his debut in a Cowboy single. It was a dominant tech fall. He was getting reattacks and counter scores and turns from the top position. Almost got a pin with a bar half. And I spoke with Coach Taylor afterwards. He said, yeah, this guy picks things up incredibly quickly. We had just started working through that bar half sequence, and there he's hitting it in a match. And it was a tech fall win. It was a really sick takedown at the end. He got a little ankle pick there, and he gave a smile back to the corner after he had sealed it. It was a cool moment and a great start for a very dangerous Sergio Vega. And really, what you're looking at here is, okay, is this going to be the lineup for the Cowboys at the national duels and moving forward? And it feels like giving Vega this spot is an indication that we'll see a lot of him at national duels. Of course, nothing set in stone there. 149. Maybe the biggest story here, I don't know what the biggest story honestly is. Maybe it's Landon Robidoux, maybe it's Aiden Valencia, but Aiden Valencia looked like an NCAA champion tonight. I mean, he absolutely, start to finish, dominated Casey Swiderski, who was really one of the bigger stories a week ago. He beat Lachlan McNeil at the All-Star Classic. He was number 2 ranked guy in the country, and you're riding high. Aiden Valencia coming off of a loss to David Evans, the 22nd ranked guy. And it's like these guys just role reversed, right? Valencia coming off the loss, big win, a lot of energy, really. What stood out, we all know that Aiden Valencia, this is a guy with 2 wins this spring over Real Woods. He's a club away from maybe being on the world team this year on the senior level. And so we know his skill. But what stood out was his pressure, how he moved and really controlled center well. And Casey just didn't seem to have a lot of answers there. I don't think there's cause for panic. If you're an Oklahoma State fan or a Swiderski fan, I think you give credit to Aiden Valencia. This guy's clearly the truth. And for Casey, you already know he can beat good guys. He beat Lachlan McNeil a week ago. So great win for Aiden Valencia. And, for Casey Swiderski, he'll get an opportunity to do what Aiden just did, come off a tough loss at the national duels. But 157, Landon Robidoux, without a doubt the story. He's taking on number 5 Daniel Cardenas. Robidoux is a true freshman, never wrestled a college match. David Taylor says, hey, go wrestle the number 5 kid in the country. And he majors him. And it was all Robidoux start to finish. Got an early takedown. He got a counter score to get it started, generated it. It was like a hard double. And then right at the very end, it looked like he kind of tricked me. I don't know if he tricked Daniel Cardenas, but it looked like Robidoux had kind of conceded the end of the match and was just going to go on and win by like 6. And then boom, hard double leg quick finish, gets the major right before time expires. Place goes nuts, and Landon Robidoux puts himself squarely in the All-American and maybe national champion conversation with one match. He was that impressive. He's that good. And more than anything, in the weeks leading up to it, and especially since I got here, before the dual meet, when I'm talking to fans and when I'm talking to people close to the program, Landon Robidoux's name always came up. He's been a standout in the room. They're like, this guy's different. And I asked Zahid Valencia right before the match, I was like, give me one name, one guy that you think's gonna surprise or shock be the shock of this dual meet. He said Landon Robidoux. He's like, he's got it here. He's exactly right. He's got it. And man, what an impressive debut in a duel seemingly full of impressive debuts, because his teammate, D. Lockett, Stillwater's own D. Lockett, had a very tough challenge of his own. He had number 4, Hunter Garvin, a 2-time All-American, in his first college match in his hometown. D talked about it in the post-match press conference. Like, man, I was really nervous. It was surreal getting to do this in this place where he said, years ago when I was a little kid, I wrestled at the intermission of this against Cale Hughes, and now I'm wrestling after the intermission against Stanford. It was just a crazy moment. But the wrestling, pretty competitive first period, not a lot of attacks. No one was really close to a takedown. And then the top wrestling of D was the difference here. He rode out Hunter Garvin the entire second period. A lot of good breakdowns, had Garvin flattened out. I did not expect that. And ultimately, that was the difference. It was a 2-1 win for D. Lockett. He did give up a stall point in the third period. The momentum was starting to shift a little bit for Hunter Garvin, but he kept his bearings, did D, and was able to leave with a win. And obviously, the crowd was loving that. 74, Facundo had a dominant win over his opponent, his tech fall debut. Again, just like at 25, we were hoping to see Lorenzo Norman here. Norman, not quite ready to go. It was 50-50 if he could wrestle. Not ready for this match. Hope to see him again soon. That would have been a great match and great potential test for Facundo. He looked really sharp here tonight. Not much else to say. Zach Ryder, really, really close competitive win. He had a hard time. I'm going to try to, the name is a little longer. Wojciech for Stanford. He was in there battling. I mean, this guy really held center against Ryder, who we just saw him march Jackson Smith all around the mat. Well, it wasn't like that here. It was limited attacks from both guys, not a lot of leg attacks from Zach or Woj, the opponent, and it was a late takedown. It was 1-1 in the third period. Zach Ryder went and got it, and he tried to cut to get another takedown, couldn't get it, and it was a 4-2 final for Zach Ryder. So it's college wrestling, man. These guys are all really good, and week to week, things can happen. And he looked a little different this week, but David Taylor wasn't the least bit discouraged or concerned. It's a hard thing to do. And so no cause for concern. I would say for Ryder, 97, 2 great freshmen. Angelo Posada from Stanford. This guy's a true freshman. We watched him last year at Who's Number One. He wrestled Cade Ziola, and while Cade won that match, I was really impressed with Posada. Great leg attacks, could kind of wrestle from a lot of different positions, long, lanky, and he put a lot of that on display against Cody Merrill. And he looked to be about 10 seconds away from winning this match. He had a big reversal in the third, and it looked like he was going to be able to ride out for the win. And Merrill just never really gave up on the body. It looked like, all right, man, it's probably time to just give up and you're going to get ridden out. And he kept fighting, got away, and then quickly got a go-behind takedown for the win, and ultimately a 5-3 final for Cody Merrill and his Cowboy debut as the starter here for his freshman year. So that was great. And then just great match and great display between two freshmen. And then Connor Doucette, a lot of talk about him, and he ends up with a tech fall victory. And so that does it for the Cowboys duel against Stanford. They're going to be wrestling in a week in Tulsa, just down the road at the National Duels. They've got Cornell In round one, they'll get the winner of NC State, UNI, and should they win that one, they would take on potentially Iowa, provided Iowa gets by Missouri, and the winner of Illinois and Little Rock. So amazing dual meet slate coming at you in a week. Can't wait to watch the Cowboys. Can't wait to watch the Hawks and the Big Red and Ohio State and Nebraska. Going to be an amazing week of wrestling, and this dual meet just got me all the more excited for the national duels.